All right, another embargo has dropped, and today we're going to talk about Deathmaster Snikch. So in the same vein that I did for the last DLC, what you're going to see here today is a quick campaign overview of Deathmaster Snikch. I'm not going to go through any tactics or anything like that, any strategies to, how to do this campaign. It's pretty much just going to be a very high-level overview of some of the mechanics, the way Snikch works, his skills, stuff like that. It's really to kind of help you create an informed decision on what you want to play when the DLC comes out. I figure, this is a little bit better than me playing through the campaign and you kind of getting a spoiler-free introduction to the campaign where you can make your own decisions. I'll be doing Snikch today. Malice Darkblade will be tomorrow, as well as my stream of Réponse Lyonnaise. And then on Sunday, we'll have a quick summary of Réponse. So basically, for the next 3 days, you'll have one of these videos every day to decide, what you want to play when the game does come out. So let's take a look at the first Legendary Lord for the Shadow and the Blade DLC. Now, Snikch and Clan Eschen are very different than your typical kind of Skaven play. Let me go ahead and... This is kind of cool, right? So you see where we start. We're right here in the Land of the Dervishes, smack dab between Sudenburg on the left and right. We have our dwarfs to the north, we have all the Khemri to the right, and we have plenty of Bretonnia to the far north. Now, taking a look at this little menu here, we can see exactly what Clan Eschen gets for, being Clan Eschen. Now, he has access to the Shadowy Dealings actions. Now, recruitment cost plus 200% for all non-Eschen units. Clan Loyalty, Eschen Lords never defect, which is quite nice. And Night Runners and Gutter Runner units use armor-piercing warp-infused projectiles. So at the end of each one of these videos, I'm going to kind of summarize and say, you will like this campaign if you are into X, Y, and Z. So keep in mind that Night Runners and Gunner Runners things is going to come up quite a bit in this whole video. So as you can see, Snikch is going to be a lot different than when you play even Scryer or Moors or Pestilence, which you're kind of focusing a lot on those other non-Eschen units, right? You're focusing on those other clan units, on the weapons team from Scryer, or any of the Pestilence unit from Pestilence, or any of the clan rats from Moors. So you see that kind of play out very heavily in the Clan Eschen campaign. Let's take a look at the two unique things that kind of come with Clan Eschen. For one, we have the Shadowy Dealings. Now, if you boot this up for the first time, it'll step you through how each one of these little things works. Since I've already done it, it's not going to show that to me. But look at the top of the screen here. We can see our schemes. Now, schemes are basically this currency that you will use to spend on each one of these actions. And these Eschen actions are then undertaken by an agent on the right. So let's say the small heist, for example. I'll left click this. It's going to use one scheme or food, depending on what the scenario is, like for instance this one. And then I can choose let's just go with the sorcerer, and then I'll choose a location. So I'll choose Sudenburg. So steals up to 100 or 1,000 gold from a settlement and reduces its income by 10% for 5 turns. So you press confirm, and there you go. It does a little successful action. You get a little small heist. You get some free money right there. Now, the Eschen actions are really cool because you can do them with sorcerers, with your legendary lord, obviously, or with other master assassins you summon up. So it makes bringing a bunch of lords into your faction very conducive, because you take them, you send them on a contract immediately, and they disappear, so you don't have to pay the upkeep. It's really cool because it kind of forces you to constantly be having these lords, heroes, whatnot on these little actions, and doing it, actually, as you can see, gets them experience. So you can level up your agents by simply using the Shadowy Dealings or the Clan Contracts menu, Jesus, to really great effect. I think in my actual playthrough, my Eschen Sorcerer is a higher level than Snikch because he just has done so many contracts. Now, as you kind of play through this, you'll see that there are a lot of different contracts, and they all have different associated cost. At the top here. Now, I've used that scheme, and I have to wait 5 more turns until schemes reset. Now, you can increase your number of schemes by using, Night Lord Say So, Find, Seek, Great Power, and it does a little thing. You lose Snikch for 2 turns. Kind of a fun little departure here, where it does encourage you to put your lord in a wounded state, but only for 2 turns. So you can really kind of pick and choose what happens. And once you do this, it'll spawn a rogue army more or less, which will kind of raid your territory that you have to go and kill. And then once you do, you get, you know, for in this case, you're going to get an additional scheme to use. So you kind of progress through this for your campaign. And it's a really, really fun and different way to play Skaven. Now, there's a lot of other different things that come into that. Now, the other portion here is clan contracts. Now, for what we've got right now, you can see we're spying on Clan Moors. This is going to increase my clan Scryer reputation by 10. This is the symbol for each one. So Moors, Pestilence, I'm sorry, that's Mulder, Scryer, and Pestilence. But it's going to decrease my clan Moors reputation by 5. So if we look down over here, we can see from the 1 to 19 reputation, I'm going to unlock level 2 contracts, get better diplomatic relations with Clan Scryer, and I'll be able to establish diplomatic contact with them immediately. So I don't need to go discover them on the map. This helps you to increase trade routes, create military alliances early, stuff like that. In addition, it also reduces the recruitment cost by 50% for Doom players, Warp Lightning Cannon, War Doom Wheels, and a Skaven Weapon Team. Now, keep in mind, that still keeps it at a positive 150% recruitment cost. So you have to climb this more and more. This is cumulative, of course. So by the time you get to this reputation level, you will finally be able to recruit all those units at their normal cost. It's not until you get to this one that you actually get a 20% discount on each one of those individual units. And you actually get the bonus for reaching the max. So in this case, research rate plus 5%, armor plus 20 for lords and embedded heroes. Now, what's important to note here is, while the bonuses don't come in at the very top, the penalties do right away. So once you start getting to negative reputation with these factions, you kind of have to balance out how you're doing this. And this is a repeating motif for this entire DLC. It's all about balancing on a knife's edge. For Eshin, it's your clan contracts. For Malice Darkblade, it's his possession mechanic. For Reponse de Leon, de Leoness, it's all about her starvation, or I'm sorry, her water mechanic, which we'll go into when we talk about her. So the clan contracts are a really cool, interesting, fun way to play the Skaven, because you're going to be sending out a sorcerer like this, and he's going to be gone for 5 turns. So that's why it's a really great opportunity to recruit up a ton of Master Assassins. You just immediately recruit them. It's going to cost you, what, 800 gold, whatever it is. And you send them out on a contract immediately, so you don't have to deal with their upkeep and the overall addition to your armies from... Oh, not here right now because we don't have a lot of armies. But you don't have to deal with that percentage increase of upkeep because you have multiple armies in the field. So it's a cool way to get lords leveled up and in rotation, ready for whenever you want to actually bring them onto the table. So it's a fun mechanic, and I really, really enjoy it. The action actions especially, because you can really stack up some really deadly things. Now, one other thing I want to go into here are the rights. So we do have some different rights for Clan Eshin. We have the sudden kill scheme, which is going to increase your speed, stock, and snipe for all armies, but it also increases missile damage by 20% for Night Runners and Gutter Runners. The campaign wants you to focus on those. So if you are really into the skirmish style Night Runner, Gutter Runner play of the Skaven, you will love Clan Eshin. 13th scheme, we already know what that one is. This gets Eshin Clanstone, which is quite nice. But in addition to that, you know, diplomatic relations with Skaven, hero success chance, and enemy action success chance reduction. You get the revitalizing scheme, which is really nice because it restores all units in your forces to full health and immediately returns all wounded and recovering characters to the faction. So you can do a whole slew of contracts or any kind of situations with Snikch to further his campaign, and then use Revitalizing Scheme to bring them all back immediately. So you do have a lot of fun ways to kind of break the rules of the new Clan Eshin Skaven mechanic. I think it's a very strong right here. Now, lastly, you have Dominating Scheme, which gives you your food generation, your growth, your public order, and your recruitment cost. Now, that is going to be huge because your growth is going to be really needed in the beginning portions of the game. Again, this isn't a tactics or strategy video, but Dominating Scheme is a very important one. And so is the Sudden Kill Scheme. It only lasts for 1 turn, but a 20% bonus on your Night Runners and Gutter Runners is huge. Remember, 200% increase on all units that are non-Eshin is pretty painful. So, what you really, what the campaign's wanting you to do is focus on those gutter runners and night runners. So, you know, you get the Den of Dread Deeds, which increases your growth, public order, food generation, income, and unlocks devious plans right out the gate. And then you pretty much just want to, because that way you don't have to, isn't this one that does devious plans? Oh, it's oppressive plans, my bad. But you want to pretty much just be focusing on this skill tree, because we actually take a look at one of these little dudes. Oh, move right there. Yeah, you can see it says, you know, all units native to Clan Eshin do not have additional recruitment costs. So as long as this symbol is filled in, there is not going to be recruitment costs. So Skaven slaves and everything in that Clan Eshin kind of building chain right here is not going to have recruitment costs. So that is pretty huge, because now when we take a look at Skrulk, he obviously gets Grand Knight Lord's Agitator. So ambush success chance plus 25%, melee attack plus 8 for embedded heroes, meaning that if you stack him with Clan Eshin sorcerers, which already have pretty impressive melee stats for sorcerers, and assassins, you're going to really be kind of getting a lot of value train off of that. So taking a look at his skill tree, we can really see how some of these abilities really stack up against each other. Taking a look, I mean, you obviously get the typical kind of route here with the infiltrators, increases the reload time and speed of night runners and gutter runners. But if you were to put a warlock engineer, there's a lot of abilities that increase missile damage, that decrease reload speed, that increase ammunition. So putting a warlock engineer in with Snikch plus these abilities is really, really huge. And taking a look at his whirl of Weeping Blades, leadership for gunner runners and night runners, death runners, and Eshin triads, rank 7 and above, of course. But of course, the bonuses to that with the AP and weapon strength bonuses, and the whirl of Weeping Blades ability itself, which is quite strong, especially against some of the dwarfs and other units you'll be fighting against. Now, Cloak of Shadows is going to further increase your ambush success chance by 20% and your enemy hero action success chance minus 10% and melee defense by 5, as well as giving you your passive Cloak of Shadows ability, helping out with melee defense and leadership. So really, obviously, the big thing for Snikch is ambush success chance. With just the cloak and his innate ambush success chance, that's a plus 45% ambush success. With this Ancient Cunning in addition to that, plus 30, you will always ambush at 70% with all that in mind. But wait, there's more. This also adds 10% to your ambush success chance, giving it a base of 80% ambush success. Also, enemy units are afflicted with temporary defensive penalties at the beginning of ambush battles. So there are so many mechanics around Snikch that play very well into the default stance of all Skaven, which is that ambush stance, right? Going into his special line, he gets campaign movement and charge bonuses. His concealment bombs for all night runners and gutter runners, a further bonus to them. Speed percent increase, which will also obviously go to them. You get a nice reduction in upkeep, which is strong because the big thing with Snikch is you have so many ports to your advantage that you will bankroll a lot of money fast. So this allows you to have a lot of lords in production, sending them out on missions, on contracts, stuff like that. Also helps with hero and lord recruitment rank of plus 3. Just dodge gives you that 15% physical resistance and melee defense plus 5, as well as sabotage and unrest, which is nice here, right? Immediately causes siege attrition at a reduced rate when besieging enemy settlements. Pretty cool. Also public order minus 5. He also gets a series of other little abilities here. Expert Thief, post-battle chance of stealing a magic item plus 25%. Rat Foo, which is not unique to him. It's unique to any kind of Eshin character. So sorcerers as well as master assassins both have this ability as well. Sneaky, Tricksy, Slippery, and then From the Shadows is his own ability here, which does give him Snipe, Stalk, and Unstoppable. For everyone in a 40-meter radius around him. So it's pretty nifty here. So overall, I really, really like Snikch. I think it's a very different way to play a Skaven campaign. You have a lot of different ways you can expand too. If you take a look at, like we were saying earlier, with Scryer, with Pestilence, where you have a very easy access to Confederation, Snikch is not that kind of character. You're playing an ambush-heavy Skaven character with Snikch. You're going to be doing a lot of offensive movements, but at the same time, you kind of have to pick and choose your battles. You can't just be throwing yourself to the wind wildly because you don't have access to those Skaven weapons teams. You can make your gutter runners and all of your night runners quite strong, especially if you stack them with warlock engineers and that single kill. What's this one? The sudden kill scheme ability. They all really stack well together. But I think for anyone who wants to play a Skaven campaign that is going to be a little bit more challenging, you do have to balance on a knife's edge all of these different these different reputations, because look at this. As you get to the bottom of this, like food generation -2 is pretty miserable for pestilence. All these research rate -10%, construction cost +4%, public order -4. Of all of them, I'd say Clan Mulder is the one I would tank the easiest, because that's a pretty small increase. But you do have to always be kind of running on a razor's edge of which clan you want to increase and which one you want to decrease, and which ones you want to increase way more and decrease way more. So I think that there's a really fun balance to be struck with the clan contracts, and I think the Eshin actions are really, really cool, especially this last one, Plunge into Anarchy. You remove a faction's leader, causing them to be overthrown by rebels. Select any army or settlement to target a faction. So they have a lot of really cool, very fun, very Eshin-flavored actions in their shadowy dealings mechanic, and I really, really enjoy it. So if you're looking to play some Skaven in a whole new different light that isn't the kind of typical, let me build a Skaven clan empire for Eshin, Scryer, or Moors, then I think Eshin is going to be the one for you, and you're going to have a lot of fun. Keep in mind, it is very challenging out the gate, but once you kind of get a hold of how the clan really works, you're going to just dominate it. I think I'm on turn 30 with a massive amount of income per turn, like 5,000 or 6,000, because I'm utilizing all these ports down here that you get real quick, easy access to. But we will be doing a first 20 turns kind of breakdown guide in the beginning portion of next week. So if you are looking for that, it will be on the horizon probably on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Just some sequence of days that I'll have set up. So if you like this video, look forward to a Malice Darkblade 1 tomorrow. Also, I will be streaming Reponse de Lyonesse tomorrow as well, so she will be on the Vortex campaign map. We'll be starting that at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 4 p.m. GMT. You want to get up and going with that. Also, if you are picking up the Shadow and the Blade DLC, you will see a link to Fanatical Games. So if you want to support the channel, you can go ahead and click that link and purchase the DLC through there. I do get a commission on that, and you will get a Steam key, so you're not going to be using it on a different platform or any of that crap. It's an awesome way to support the channel for something you already intend on buying. I will also be doing a giveaway of the Shadow and the Blade DLC tomorrow on that stream as well. So on Friday, if you want to tune in, have some fun, watch the new content, kind of see what's going on. I'll also be giving away a game key or two. So go ahead and tune in. Again, that is 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. GMT. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one and take care.